Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning into another Supatease video, and it looks like our frustrations may finally be settled. Obviously, the AWC started today. We had some exciting and awesome matches. Looks like Boomkin is going to be a dominating force. We saw Echo in Europe absolutely tearing it up. We're going to be moving into North America for Saturday. Hope that you guys did enjoy the games. But obviously, there was a lot of attention towards MMR and how deflated it currently has been. I've made videos about it. Lots of other content creators have made videos about it. It was an obvious problem, but it looks like the thing that tipped everything over to get this result was my tweet about getting fit. They don't want me to get fit. I said I was doing leg extensions until they buff MMR, and an hour later, they buffed MMR. They just don't want me to look sick. They don't want me to look muscular, I guess. This is the thing that tipped it over. So we're going to be going into detail of what is going on with this change specifically, because this has been the main gripe and the main thing holding back this current season. So with Season 2 MMR issues, we had a post from FXSP and an expansion that has had great communication so far. It seems weird we have not heard anything about Season 2 MMR and inflation yet. In the past 2 to 3 weeks, every time I've opened Twitter or went to the arena forums, there's been posts asking what is going on. Even AWC chats were filled with questions about it. At the creation of this post, rank 1 is currently still lower than Gladiator, 2369, and there's only 37 people in North America above 2400. You guys said you would keep an eye on inflation this season, but the only thing you've kept an eye on was Solo Shuffle getting super inflated ratings and ignored rated 2s and 3s that's floundering. I think people would appreciate an acknowledgement and that something is being done. Everyone that PvPs just feels ignored right now. I think the sentiment does ring true, and finally we will be ignored no longer. One thing I do find interesting is that he seems to think Solo Shuffle is fine, but I feel like Solo Shuffle is even more deflated than likely was originally intended. We've seen a lot of discussion around ratings in Dragonflight Season 2 the past couple of weeks, and we've reviewed and discussed the current state of ratings and matchmaking. For additional context, in Season 1, we shared some of our philosophy around rating and reward acquisition. Coming out of Season 1, we saw a large disparity between what a rating a player could hit in Solo Shuffle compared to other rated brackets. We wanted to have less rating disparity between the different brackets, so the general skill level between each feels roughly the same. This makes sense, right? If you're a 3400 Solo Shuffle player, but then only 2700 in ranked 3s, there's a large disparity there, obviously, with the goal of being able to obtain the highest ratings in 3v3. Interesting. They wanted you to only be able to get the highest ratings in 3v3, which makes me think that Shuffle will be stifled harder. On the topic of inflation, as noted in the above post, we did start inflation earlier this season. Having started this past week, week 5, we have noticed that a smaller amount of players are hitting the higher end of ratings compared to the same time as Season 1, which also has trickle effects on the rest of the ladder. To help improve the situation, we are taking the following steps. With next week's reset, the inflation rate will be substantially increased for next week. This increase will be gradual throughout the course of the week. The steadier inflation rate will continue for the remainder of the season. We'll continue to monitor the numerous factors at play that impact the overall rated ladder and ratings. Thank you for your continued feedback and patience on this topic. So it still does seem like it's going to be a bit of a slow burn towards getting this rating, right? Like, it's only the inflation rates is, I guess, substantially. I guess we really have to wait and see what if substantially is going to be enough that, you know, maybe at the end of last season you were 2700 and now you're stuck at 1500. That's a 1200 rating difference, right? So how substantial is it to get you even close to where you were? You're probably not going to expect to get anywhere close to where you were, at least in Solo Shuffle, if their main goal is that your highest rated bracket is actually 3v3 and not Solo Shuffle. This means that Solo Shuffle might just have a dramatically lower overall rating potential than previous seasons, which I've explained in my previous video, that it's kind of like they opened Pandora's box in Season 1 by allowing players to get as high rated as they did. It's never going to feel good if they just limit you and inhibit getting to where you were the previous season so heavily like this. So hopefully this gets it to a better mark. It is at least talked about, right? It's not just kind of like going under the radar or swept under the rug and kind of just being ignored. It's obviously good that it's been acknowledged. This word right here, substantially increased, is going to be a key factor, but there are some risks in this post as I've explained. So hopefully this is enough to get everybody a little bit boosted up. And then I would expect to see more changes like we saw throughout season 1 for classes, and hopefully going to be helping out some of the classes that are struggling. 10.1.5 in the future, we've already seen a lot of changes moving into Death Knight. Hopefully they continue to look at the numbers for those ones, because there was a lot of controversy with the numbers for those ones. But as long as they keep looking at it, keep the communication going similar to season 1, then this is likely going to be a really good save, and a vital save for PvP in Dragonflight. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be enough? Do you think this isn't going to be enough? If this isn't enough and you can't get to that 3,000 rating like you got before, is it really going to just tip it over for you for just not wanting to play at all? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. Hope that it's kept you up to date. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with everything related to World of Warcraft, then make sure to smash the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'm still working hard to get to that 100,000 subscriber mark, and your support along the way would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.